Okay, for this video, I'm going to cover how to complete the Pen Tool Summative activity, which you can see on the Google Classroom right here. So this Pen Tool Summative activity, that's what we're going to do. So to start with, you need to get your Homer Simpson character that you previously created and load that. And we're actually going to change the size of this, but that's okay. So I have that loaded. I have mine loaded right there, Simpsons.a. AI. I'm going to go File New, and I'm going to change the width of this to, I'm going to create a new document that's 17 by 11 and click OK. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make sure nothing is locked. I'm going to hit Control A to select everything. I'm going to hit Control C to copy. Come over here, Control V to paste. And then I'm just going to kind of move my Homer Simpson over here. That looks good. Now there's a few objects that I'm going to have to change on this. So I'm going to go Control plus plus. Let me actually delete that path right there. And then this, the gradient background, I'm actually going to scale that out. Okay, so I'm going to make that bigger. Whoops. Okay, delete, delete. Let's see if is that. There we go. That's the gradient background. Let me scale that out. So that's bigger. Okay, so now that we have Homer Simpson kind of down here in the corner, looking a little scared, we need to put, or pondering something. I'm going to lock this layer, create a new layer, and then we need to add in another cartoon character into this, and we're going to add this second cartoon character over here. This can be any character that you want, but I'd like you to try to make it fit into the scene somehow. So it can be your favorite character, whatever, but it needs to kind of fit this scene. So you got Homer Simpson either pondering or a little bit worried over here. So what I am gonna actually do is there's this Burns, I'm gonna add him over in the corner, just kind of doing this. Okay, so I have this. I'm going to view the image. I'm going to right click, save as. I'll save mine to my U drive right there, save. And then I'm going to go back into Illustrator. I'm going to go File, Place. I'm going to find that Montgomery Burns image that I just downloaded. There it is, Mr. Burns Evil. Now there's a couple things that I'm going to have to change with this. Obviously I'm going to have to crop this whole thing out with the pen tool. But one thing that I want to do is, like, he's facing the wrong direction. I kind of want him to be facing this direction. So in Illustrator you can just kind of flip him around. Looks like that scale, isn't that? And then I kind of want him to be huge, because Homer's over here. He's like kind of weird and pondering. And then I'm going to really scale Mr. Burns up. All right. So now that I have this in here, the next thing that I would want to do is lock that layer and create new layers. And I would want to kind of trace out Mr. Burns in here. So in terms of complexity, I'm actually looking for something similar to the Homer Simpson complexity. So if you choose a relatively simple cartoon to trace out, you're probably going to lose points. You need to choose something relatively complex. Mr. Burns here, this would be perfect, and you can kind of see like how this is going to look. Obviously, when I crop this out, there's not going to be this white background anymore. And then if I wanted, I could apply a shadow to this, but this is, I think that this would really look cool. So anyway, yeah, I would just start by using the pen tool. And I notice some people, the way that I like to do this is I like to do the lines separate from everything else. And like these two right here, I would do two different shapes. So for instance, I'll start working down on his sleeve right here. I will go click, click, kind of click right there, click and hold, and kind of just have that follow. Click on that anchor point, come down there, and then let's fill that in find the eyedropper tool, and fill that in with Let me zoom in, Control plus plus to zoom in, fill that in with that. Okay, now that I have that done, next thing I would do, again, grab the pen tool. I would use over here, I would start maybe right here, here, okay, come down to about there, click and hold, okay, click on that anchor point, click, click, and then this, actually, I'd want to be that color right there, okay. Now in terms of, so I have these filled in, but what about this black outline that's going around? So the way that I would do the black outline, because I saw some people struggling with this, is I'm going to lock that layer, create a new layer to do my black outline on, and then I would click, click, come up here, kind of click and hold so it follows the shape. Click on that anchor point, click right there, come over here and click. Okay, and this is obviously going to have to be the color black, but then I flip these around, and then I'm going to want to use, I need to change the stroke of this. So window, I can make sure oh, there's stroke right there. Sorry, different. Okay, now that's obviously a little bit too big, so maybe I want to go maybe like 3. So in terms of what I've traced out so far is I've traced that out so far. So when I look at this, it doesn't look 100% perfect. Like I'm noticing like, kind of like, see how like, let me zoom in. See how like there's a little empty space there? Alright, I actually did that on purpose so that I could fix it and show you how to fix it. I'm going to use the direct selection tool right here. Kind of come over here, click just one time on that anchor point and kind of bring it up so that that fills that in right there. Okay, also notice that these are touching. So I'm fine with the 4-point, but maybe I want, rather than having, because I know his sleeve, like there was a line right there, like if we come back and take a look and uncheck these, it's kind of faded right there and his sleeve doesn't do that. I can actually change this around so that it looks better for me. And I think to look better for me, I'm going to actually take this thing and bring it in here. And then I can take this, scale it out maybe a little bit. Scale it out and then use these. So feel free to add some of your own artistic umbrage to this so that it looks good for you. So see how I don't know, I think that that just looks a little bit better for me. And then anyway, so next thing I would do, I was like just creating layers and layers and layers. The more layers you create, the better. Also make sure that you label your layers. So the next thing I would do is I would start working on tracing this out. So probably click, click and hold, have that follow, click, kind of click here. Okay, that looks good. Click, make sure that we fill this in with nothing, at least when we're clicking around. Alright, that looks good right there. Click, and click and have that follow just like that. And then let's fill this in with that. Okay, then the next thing I would do is click on the pen tool again, and I would kind of complete this area right here. Whoops, Control Z. So click, let's come over, kind of click right there, click and hold, click, have this kind of follow that up, kind of like that. No, there we go, that looks pretty good. Click, fill this in with nothing for the time being. Click and hold, there we go, and then grab the eyedropper tool, there we go, fill that in, and then last thing I would do is maybe create a new layer, lock that layer, grab the pen tool, and then I'd probably start by like clicking right there, kind of clicking right there, having it follow. Control Z. It's a little bit easier to do when I'm zoomed out a little bit. Click right there. Let's fill this in with nothing to begin with. Come over here, click and hold. Click. Come down here, click. Come over here, click and hold. Gonna have that follow that line that I just made. And then obviously I would want to fill this in with black. And then we said the stroke is like 6, I think. I don't know. It's up to you what stroke weight you want to use. But okay, so notice this up here didn't actually work out too well. So I can zoom in on this, double click on this anchor point right there. Try to Let's get this anchor point. There we go. That looks much better. Yeah, so you can kind of see I'm slowly going around, and that's at least how I would do it. It's totally up to you. My stroke weight might be a little bit high. Maybe I'd want to go 4, but again, this is your art, so it's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. Yeah. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, but your final product, I do not want any previous images in there, so like you'd want to obviously delete that guy and you'd just have Mr. Burns in here looking over Homer. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this video tutorial on how to start this project was